from First Coast News. This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Well, good morning to you. I'm Jessica Clark, and for Keith and Nelson this morning.
Good morning, Jess. I'm Lou. We're glad you're with us. Right now at 6:30, two JSO officers are in the hospital recovering after a shooting Friday night. The officers responding to a suicide risk call on the west side.
And upon entering the home, police say the suspect, 25-year-old Derek Brabham, fired at the officers. They returned fire, killing the suspect.
In Riverside, a 28-year-old man died after being hit by a train. He was riding his bike. Happened Saturday night. Right,
and neighbors call it a dangerous intersection. There are two tracks at that crossing. It appears the man crossed thinking, okay, our train's already gone by, but he didn't know that there was another one coming. They're now pushing for action to be taken.
And your third big story this morning. Today is the day that we have been waiting for since 1979. The total solar eclipse is finally here. The eclipse is crossing the entire nation, but here in Jacksonville we'll only see 91% totality. But where's the best place to catch the eclipse? I'm Lindsay Boach, and I'll have those details for you coming up at 6:47, plus the changes that school districts are making to protect students. But first, to check your forecast with storm expert meteorologist Mike Prangley.
All right, the eclipse party's been going on since 2 a.m. here at First Coast News. Got the glasses. And when the solar eclipse happens, remember ISO, ISO, ISO. Yeah, it has to have that little symbol on the glasses to be safe. It peaks at 2:46, 91% obscurity. So that's right. The sun, the moon, earth all lined up just right. And even though the moon is much smaller than the sun, keep in mind the sun 400 times bigger, but it's 400 times farther away. That's why we're going to get the big shadow across the area. Now the big story is, what about the clouds? Well, let's take a look at the best viewing area. We've got a front to the north, tropical wave to the west. There's going to be a sweet spot across the area, not for Lake City, Brunswick, or Jacksonville, but St. Augustine southward. We'll take a close look at that coming up. But first, Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you very much, Mike. All right, let's get your traffic started for this morning. Look at that beautiful sunrise starting out there. This is a look towards I-10 near 295, and traffic there looks great, though it is picking up on that eastbound side, but that's to be expected for this time of the morning. Taking a look towards your traffic maps to help you out, the only accident that we've been following throughout the morning is along 95 southbound before 295, but I'm not seeing any delays. Expect heavier traffic as people make their way towards the beach today. Now, typically it's the other way around. Everybody's leaving the beach and headed towards work downtown, but since we've got the solar eclipse going on, a lot of people like to go to the beach to be able to watch it, so you could expect A1A as well as Atlantic Beach, JTB, those starting to get busy. Like I said, the only crash we're following, 95 southbound here past the airport before 295. Possible a lane is blocked according to FHP, but I'm not seeing any slowdowns, and still I've checked the camera several times and haven't been able to see it, so it's possible they've cleared it off to the side. Back to you.
So what exactly happens during an eclipse? What makes it such a rare occurrence? Well, we want to give you a better understanding. It requires the perfect lineup involving the sun, the earth, and the moon. In order for a total solar eclipse to happen, the moon must move precisely between the sun and the earth. So that causes the moon to cast a giant shadow over portions of the U.S., starting in Oregon on the west coast and slowly making its way across the country until it moves off the coast of South Carolina.
Well, thank you, Anthony. Today, it's just the beginning. In the next century, there are going to be 3 significant solar eclipses. We're going to tell you about them. You might not be around. The next one will be April 8th. 2024. Okay, that's only 7 years from now, but August 12th, 2045 will be one of the best eclipses North America has ever seen because it's wide path and long duration from coast to coast.
It's going to get really dusky because this is in totality, so it's going to get almost totally dark. Stars will come out. You'll be able to see 4 planets, we've been told.
Millions of Americans going to travel to small towns all across the country to get the best view of today's total solar eclipse. Our First Coast News operations manager, you just heard from her right there, that's Lori Dorman. She is in Dillard, Georgia right now. That's way at the top of the state in the mountains there, but it is in that 70-mile path of totality. They say locals are already seeing an increase in people all around town and are concerned about today's traffic.
I think it's going to be chaotic a little with the parking. Hopefully it'll bring people together as a wonderful thing that people will never see again in their lifetime.
Well, yeah, definitely a historic day here in the United States of America. By the way, Lori planned the trip to Dillard, Georgia back in February. She says her hotel fully booked. They couldn't stop on the road to check out any of the scenery either because there were just so many people stopped on the side of the road as well.
How about that? Well, obviously this has a lot of you talking online. Jack says, my favorite thing about the eclipse is that for one day, everyone is captivated by space. The world pauses just for a brief moment.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, Donna says she doesn't want to deal with the traffic. She says, I'll watch the craziness on TV or perhaps firstcoastnews.com where you can stream it. Best seat in the house to see it all. Yes, ma'am.
Valentino posted this photo of eclipse glasses. Kind of funny there.
Kinda. Better check those retinas when you're done with those.
Yeah.
But funny nonetheless.
Be careful.
Yes, please, please. And if the eclipse is affecting businesses, JR posted this from a McDonald's restaurant. It says the restaurant's going to close from 1:17 to 1:20, this specific McDonald's, so employees can go out and watch the eclipse themselves.
That's cool.
I wonder if your job is going to let you, and I asked this not to Jessica Clark, but to you, if your job will let you take a couple of moments to just peek outside, or if you're going to have to stick to that grindstone for a little while.
You know, if your job is, we'd love to hear about that.
Most
That's kind of neat.
certainly. And we're going to be doing a Facebook. In fact, I think we've got Facebook Live happening right as we speak. So get on there, and we will answer all your questions, or you can tell us some cool stuff about it as well. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, summer's over for most people around here, and maybe you want to print out some pictures to put up. Deal guy Matt Granite has your savings coming up, and we continue keeping our eyes on the sky. Look at that.
Beautiful. It is beautiful, those clouds.
It's lovely, but we got to talk about those clouds. Will they block the view of the total eclipse for us? Hope not.
Mike's grunting back there.
Yeah, I know. So Mike Prangley has your forecast coming up. Some eclipse fun facts for you as we get ready to see 91% totality here in Jacksonville. This is the first total solar eclipse visible in the continental U.S. since 1979.
And we're going to have complete coverage for you all day long. You know that. Please stay with us right here. First Coast News on air and firstcoastnews.com.
Are all of your summer memories trapped on here? Great to be with you. That's my wife, nice girl. But for all of us that have those photos that need to get unleashed with a little bit more permanence, a price drop tied to making that happen is my favorite deal of the week.
Now, Brandy, no one is paying you to say nice things about this company. You had a really good experience with Easy Canvas Prints?
Yeah, I really did. I messed up when I ordered my prints originally, and they replaced it for free, and all I had to do was pay the shipping cost. And that would have cost well over $200 if I had paid for all three.
You see this picture? It would make a perfect canvas print to capture my favorite summer memory, shooting at YouTube Studios with Matt Granite in New York.
That was one of your favorite summer memories?
Yes!
Did Matt make you say that?
Yes!
Well, it sure looked good on a canvas.
Yeah, it will. With prices 84% off and $25 for a 16x20 print with free shipping, Easy Canvas Prints has better customer service, better print quality, 100% made in the USA. This deal, which is not a paid product, on our website. FirstCoastNews.com is where I have you covered. And until we meet again, I'm Matt Granite for First Coast News.
Katie, what happened to that moon pie I gave you?
I mean, I may or may not have eaten it.
Uh-oh, I've got to hide the rest. I've got you a sun-kissed too to wash it down.
To wash it down? Oh, you're such a gentleman.
There you go. So the moon, the sun, and the earth. I've got the earth.
Better keep an eye on those
chips,
sun chips before they disappear too.
We're taking it to the next level this morning. Let's get right to it. So what's it going to look like in the sky? What do you need to know? Well, clouds or no clouds, keep in mind it will look like dusk. But if we get some breaks, especially south and east of Jacksonville, which I think we will, look to the west. We should see planets like Jupiter, and then there's Saturn, and then you should be able to see some stars. This is going to be great, and I do expect some of the street lights to turn on across the area. Doesn't get better, right? So where's the sweet spot? Well, it's between a front to the north across the Carolinas and just to the north of this tropical wave and to the northwest, which is central and south Florida where that dry air is. But we're going to see a sliver of that dry air that's going to move into our southeastern counties. So as we check out Duval, yeah, mainly more than 60% coverage. But look at that. By the time you get south of St. Augustine, Katie, Anastasia Island area, south toward Crescent Beach, Oh, yes. We're going to be looking up. It looks much better for viewing.
All right, I can't wait. I'm very excited for the day, and I love all your moon pies,
Yeah, I'll
sun
hold
kissed,
that for you.
sun chips he's brought in. Got to go with the theme. Let's take a live look here. This is I-95 near State Road 16, so kind of near the exit you would take towards St. Augustine. And I-95 there looks great, so that's great to be able to report. It's been a nice morning so far on the roadways, but traffic is starting to pick up as well as in those congestion points. So 95 northbound here traveling from 295 towards downtown. It is a smooth 13-minute ride at this point. No problems really in kind of the Orange Park area, but you do have that congestion from people trying to merge onto 295 from Blanding, and that's why you're seeing that red and yellow there. But that's kind of typical for this time of the morning. Also, I-10 starting to build up as well, but a big exciting day. Solar eclipse day.
It's like Christmas morning to me.
It's Christmas come early.
You guys are so funny. Okay, you'll need to have proper eclipse viewing glasses to catch this historic sight today. First Coast News, Alex Ositis tells us why it's so important. Coming up in your Power Block of News.
Time now for your Power Block of nonstop news before Good Morning America and the Today Show take over at 7 o'clock. 2 Pennsylvania state troopers were shot Friday night while trying to arrest a burglary suspect. Authorities say officers did return fire, killing that 26-year-old suspect. The investigation is still ongoing this morning. And the U.S. Navy is reporting 10 missing sailors after a destroyer collided with a sea merchant ship earlier this morning.
Right, and it's the second time this has happened in just about 2 months or so for men at sea. The Navy says 5 were injured. Some were taken even to Singapore by helicopter so that they could be treated. That's where they were going in the first place.
A big day. We know this is Total Eclipse Day. It is the talk of the town, talk of the United States of America, really. It is finally here. We've been talking about it for a year.
And you know, it's super important that you have those special viewing glasses so you don't damage your eyes. I've talked to some people who were just going to wear sunglasses. And oh, no, don't do that.
Someone tweeted, can I look through a mirror? Can I take a peek? And it, no.
You got to have those glasses.
Be safe.
Yeah.
That's all. Have the glasses. It's not every day this happens. So
right.
Questions are normal.
Of course. First Coast News, Alex Ositis is live at UNF this morning with more on protecting yourself.
Hey, good morning, Jessica. And while I might look like a member of Devo or somebody else from the 80s, these glasses are critical today. And if you want to look at the sun later on, your mom always said don't stare at the sun. Well, with these glasses, it'll help because it'll protect the UV rays passing through. So something that you want to make sure that you have. We have a website up to tell you about eclipse2017.nasa.gov. Go there, make sure whoever makes your glasses is on that approved list. So sunglasses aren't going to cut it today. Jessica, you mentioned that. So don't wear your sunglasses. Make sure you have these UV protection solar eclipse glasses. Now, if you do have a pair and you have your brand checked, it's okay to look up at the sun and see that eclipse happening. But what we are learning here at UNF, a group of 15 students actually went up to South Carolina. They brought some of their gear with them. They're going to be taking some measurements. They also brought a bunch of these glasses so that they can view this properly. They're also working with Google, trying to stitch together some of the pictures that they take. But we did speak with UNF physics professor John Anderson. Now, he's going to tell you, all of you photographers and everyone with the lenses and things like that, that are going to be looking at the eclipse, why it's so important to protect your eyes.
Don't look through your viewfinder on your camera while wearing your eclipse glasses, because the lenses inside, or mirrors if it's a telescope or something, inside will concentrate the sun's light so much that it'll get past.
Important step right there for everyone taking pictures today. Now, all of this, all the seriousness behind the glasses, has school districts taking some action too. Our Lindsay Boat has more on that story.
Hey, good morning, Alex. Yes, a lot of school districts are actually making some changes to their daily plans today. Some of them even allowing your kids to stay home from school, and it counts as an excused absence. So those counties, St. Johns, Duval, and Clay counties, are counting today as excused absences. Duval County Public Schools and Clay County have canceled all of their outdoor activities for the day. So those kids who are still in Clay County or Duval County, those outdoor school activities will be moved indoors in Clay County. Nassau and Ware counties dismissed dismissing early, while Glenn County will dismiss late. For specific times on those schools, make sure you head to our website, firstcoastnews.com. So where can you watch the solar eclipse? Well, you could step outside and look up into the sun wearing the proper eyewear, of course, but there are many places around the First Coast that are having viewing parties. Some of those places in Duval County, you can experience a solar eclipse with the animals at the Jacksonville Zoo. They will not be handing out glasses. You do need to bring your own, so make sure you do that. Then for a totally different crowd, you can head out to Lemon Bar. They'll have live music. You must be 21 and you must have your ID with you. The first 300 people will get free viewing glasses there. In Nassau County, you can head out to Sliders in Fernandina Beach. They'll start their celebrations at 2 o'clock. Then in St. Johns County, you can experience a solar eclipse at Fort Matanzas. It's free for the whole family. And then at Collier, Blocker, Puryear Park in World Golf Village, there's a free party. Glasses will be handed out there. Both of those parties start at 1 o'clock. And then if you're in the Golden Isles, you can visit Fort Frederica. That party starts at noon. There are many more activities and parties going on. I just don't have the time to run through all of them. Make sure you find that list on our website, firstcoastnews.com. Jessica.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. Remember, First Coast News is covering the Great American Eclipse all day long. Please stay with us on air and on firstcoastnews.com for continued updates and details. Lou?
Thank you, Jess. It's 6:50. A 5-year-old is dead after a domestic violence incident at the University of North Carolina's campus. It's topping your national headlines right now. Police at UNC at Chapel Hill say a husband, wife, and their child were involved in an incident where a knife was used as a weapon. The husband and wife were taken to the hospital for medical treatment. University of North Carolina's website says the apartment complex houses graduates and student families as well. They are still investigating right now. Tonight, President Trump is expected to address the nation in the ongoing war with Afghanistan. President Trump met with his national security team Friday at Camp David. Afghanistan is the nation's longest-running war in the United States history, now in its 16th year. Tonight's address is scheduled for 9 o'clock. Both ABC and NBC are scheduled to have a special report for you, and we will have it, of course, online, firstcoastnews.com. So the eclipse inspiring some totally stellar food options around the country, dude. Denny's is offering all-you-can-eat mooncakes for $4. And what's really cool, the company says they're shaped like a full moon. Wait, that's a circle, which is, well, that's how a pancake's shaped. All right, so not much creativity into that one, but it's $4 and it's all-you-can-eat pancakes. Nailed it.
It's a really tough way to go home. Reganey driven back. He's at the warning track.
Out. Forget Major League Baseball. Forget any level of sport. This is going to be the best catch in all levels. At such a young age, this is in Pennsylvania, taking on a team from Chinese Taipei, the Junior League World Series championship game. The play so unbelievable, the Chinese Taipei manager argued the call, and the umps actually overturned it, calling it a home run. But they did come to their senses and changed it all back to an out. I mean, how can you argue that? Unbelievable catch. It was not enough for the team from Pennsylvania to win, though that young man's famous forever. Chinese Taipei does win 12-1, but that catch.
Gosh, his team didn't win after all of that.
Amen.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. Thanks, Louis. So, a live look outside this morning.
Oh,
beautiful.
Nice.
Oh boy, isn't that pretty? So let's check in with storm expert Mike Prangley, checking out that forecast. We want to know if there are going to be a lot of clouds in the sky later on.
Well, it depends on where you are. You're going to need these, especially south and east of Jacksonville. And make sure they have the little symbol ISO, ISO, ISO. Okay, so remember that. It begins at 116, but I'll probably have a car full of kids and get to the south and east, especially south and east of St. Augustine. Central Florida, the Space Coast, looks best. So the farther south and east you go, the better. 246 is when it peaks, and then it continues till 411. So go southeast. That's the big forecast here today. In fact, let's take a look at the very latest and why I think that's going to be the case. Well, we got a front to the north and a tropical wave to the south, and right in between there's your drier sinking air. So that's why we're thinking south and east. There will be a few showers here today, especially by mid to late morning, but they should clear out by late afternoon in time for the jumbo shrimp tonight. So as we look at our visibility and the travel weather, not the best in the Carolinas, but very good for Central and South Florida, and up toward Nashville, Tennessee should be a dandy. Let's take a look at that solar eclipse around the area. Lake City, Brunswick, Jacksonville. I've got 60, 70% cloud cover, but notice it drops to 40% by the time you head into St. Augustine. All right, a little sweet spot down there in beautiful St. Johns County. Now let's look at 7-day forecast. Jumbo shrimp, yeah, we'll get the game in 89. A little break in the rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and then more storms by late week. Great day out there, Katie. How's it looking on the roads in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center?
So far, not too bad, but of course things are picking up as we start to get into that morning rush hour. This is a look towards the Fuller Warren, looking towards the San Marco area. And right here, it looks pretty good, beautiful sunrise. But let's take a look here at your traffic maps to help you guys out this morning. If you are traveling on 95 northbound, kind of come in here as you would pass the exit there for the Acosta and the Main. That's where you could potentially see an accident, but I have not heard if any lanes there are blocked. Again, that's 95 northbound just before you would get towards the Fuller Warren. Just watch out there. I-10 already pretty heavy, traveling from 295 towards downtown, about an 8 to 10 minute ride already, and that should build throughout the morning because this is just the beginning of the morning rush, especially for I-10. Another spot of congestion here as people kind of leave 9B and travel on 295 northbound. Traffic gets really congested in that area because it goes from 4 lanes down to 2. So you've got a 10-minute drive from I-95 up towards Beach Boulevard, but that area, typical spot there of that congestion. Back to you.
Thank you, Katie. 6:55 is your time. Time for the top stories to help you get out the door this morning. This was the scene. Check it out from the sky. Unbelievable police presence in Kissimmee where another 2 officers were shot Friday night. And in this tragic situation, both of the officers did die. Everett Miller, who you see there, is in custody, being held without bond, facing a first-degree murder charge. Sunday afternoon, officers and community members gathered to remember those fallen officers, Officer Matthew Baxter and Sergeant Richard Howard.
Back here in Jacksonville, an officer-involved shooting took place Friday night as well. Both of the officers shot are in stable condition this morning. The officers were responding to a suicide risk call on the city's west side. Police say 25-year-old Derek Brabham had no criminal history, but did open fire when the officers entered the west side home. He was killed when police returned fire.
Sometimes all 4 lights will be red. And I'll sit there and wait, and I don't know whether to go or not. I'll just go ahead and cross the street. I see everybody's sitting there stopped, so I just go ahead and cross.
A man is dead after crossing what neighbors call a dangerous intersection in Riverside. JSO says a 28-year-old man tried to cross the tracks on his bicycle after a train passed on his left side, but police say he didn't see the oncoming train on the other side. He died at the scene. Hundreds of Mayport-based sailors are back home after 7 months on the high seas with the USS Philippine Sea.
One of our own celebrating the return as well. First Coast News show director Emily Crispin right there. Fiancé James was on board. Today, the USS Way City returns from deployment, bringing 300 more sailors back to the First Coast. Congratulations, 211 days waiting for that kiss. Congratulations, now you're getting married. Welcome home. Thank you for your service. All right, last check of the forecast,
Best viewing, south and east, Anastasia Island and down to the south toward Flagler Beach. And check it out, we got the sun kiss, the moon pie, and the sun chips all lined up, ready to eat. Just be careful, make sure you have the proper eye gear. We'll have a few showers. They should end, though, by late day.
And out there on your roadways, we've got congestion picking up and no severe accidents. I'll help you out throughout the morning.
The snacks of Eclipse Day.
Of the tie.
Plus the tie.
Cover your eyes.